I'm back, and that was the musical break. A beautiful, beautiful song there as we exalt the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, taking us to 25 minutes to the top of the hour, 8 a.m. This is Hope at Dawn, right here at Hope TV, where you look and you live. Welcome back. My name is George Gishoro. Time now for the newspaper review, what is being reported in the dailies this morning. We start off with the Daily Nation and what they are going with. In as far as the headline is concerned, campaign podium. That is what they are going with, campaign podium. And there is a photo there of crowds, and in the background there is the State House of Nairobi. And they say delegations hosted at State House. President says residence is no longer only for the privileged, that is the State House. And there are people who have been hosted there, groups hosted there, delegations that have been hosted there. And on the 7th of August, Boda Boda team visited the State House. 2 days later, the Nairobi youth were hosted at the same house on the hill. August 15th, Nyamira and Kisii delegations visited. 29th of August, Meru delegation. September 2nd, Kuria West and Kuria East delegation was hosted. September 2nd, Turkana delegation. September 11th, Kisii. September 12th, Murang'a. And on the 13th of this month, 10,000 teachers were hosted by President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi. And President Ruto has opened the State House gates to delegations from across the country, explaining the meetings with diverse interest groups are intended to resolve their grievances and let them have a say in governance. But critics counter that the seat of power has been turned into a platform for partisan political campaigns amid queries as to the source of millions being doled out to attendees. You can read the details of that story on pages 4 and 5 inside the Daily Nation. And then there is, still on the front page, crisis in public universities as dons set to strike. All right, so it seems that learning in public universities will be interrupted unless there is an intervention there because lecturers are set to go on strike. That story is covered on page 6 inside the Daily Nation. Still on the education front, and the Teacher Service Commission's new plan to end junior school tough wars, and that's a story that is covered on page 7 because the tough wars between NAT and KUPPET. KUPPET wants the junior school domiciled in secondary schools, whereas for NAT they are saying it should be domiciled in the primary school section. So let's see how TSC will be able to resolve that. It's on page 7. And then in the footsteps of Kwabi Nzaro cult victims, that's the crime section, which is on page number 3 inside the Daily Nation. And then the pullout this morning, Healthy Nation pullout, stillbirth then cancer. That is the DN2 pullout, Healthy Nation pullout. You can read that inside this is inside the Daily Nation. Still, I see some Juja MP George Koimburi, lawyer, face fraud charges over disputed 10 million shillings land sale. And then on the business section, subsidy removal denies users deeper price cuts on fuel. Some sports here. Beatrice Chebet is flirting with greatness that only Usain Bolt and Haile Gebrselassie have achieved. What is that all about? It's on the sports section inside the Daily Nation as well, and so you can read it for yourself. And then finally, still on some sports, battling Edmund Serem secures bronze for Kenya in men's 3,000 meters steeplechase. You remember there was a time this was, we were a powerhouse in the 3,000 meters steeplechase, but then we did not really invest properly, and so we are now comfortable with just the bronze medal, but hiyo ni poa pia, yeah? Si wanasema pia hata mkia ni nyama. Yeah, so it's all good. It's all good. All right, that's the Daily Nation. Let's go to the Standard newspaper and what they are going with. The Standard, the headline is War Against Matiang'i, and there is a photo there of President William Ruto and former Interior CS Fred Matiang'i, and so they are reporting here political machinations. Former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i's declaration 4 months ago that he will be running for president in 2027 has clearly struck a nerve in President William Ruto's camp. Behind the scenes, a covert plan is in motion with the state machinery rolled out, senior civil servants flexing power, money changing hands, and threats being issued, all aimed at clipping Matiang'i's rising stature in Nyanza and across the country. It's a story that is covered on pages 6 and 7. And there are quotes here attributed to various leaders from the Kisii region. And it's true, professionals from the Gusii community met. You cannot threaten someone because of his or her political beliefs. These were top professionals from our community. Education CS Julius Ogamba is quoted as saying. And then Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka says they are here every weekend, flying in a dozen helicopters, intimidating civil servants, bribing people in the name of economic empowerment, rallies, and where is this money coming from? All right. So those are the war of words, and also the war aimed at former CS Fred Matiang'i. Then still on the front page, sleuths flying blind in city without CCTV. And despite millions sunk into the integrated urban surveillance system between 2012 and 2015, Nairobi has no working CCTV to capture real-time crime in the CBD and major roads. A week after lawyer Chalo Mbobu was gunned down in a hail of bullets, detectives still have no solid leads and are left to hope and pray for good Samaritans to step forward. Sad story there. And you can read it inside the Standard newspaper. It's on page number 5. Looking at the Financial Standard pullout, Kenya cedes key transport corridor to China. Beholden, Beijing will soon hold all the cards in the management of virtually all projects under the Northern Transport Corridor, exposing some of the pitfalls of reliance on foreign funding of local infrastructure. It's on page 24 and 25, and also on page 23 inside the pullout, fintechs win big in VAT exemption row. So that's a story also that you can get inside the Standard newspaper. All right. Then we can go to the Business Daily and what the Business Daily is reporting this morning. And it's all about, this is former Uganda AG takes 14% stake in Sidian Bank, and so Kampala lawyer buys $1 billion stake from Centum. Bank attracts fresh investors as profits surge. You can read that on the front page and also page 2 inside the Business Daily, and how KRA is turning to AI to catch smugglers. All right. So at the port of Mombasa, where thousands of containers come in daily, customs officers have for decades relied on their eyes to determine what lies inside the steel boxes. But the process has sometimes been viewed as frustratingly slow by traders and their agents. And so they are embracing AI. And borrowings in deposit-taking circles outpaced deposits by a record 92.2 billion in the year ended December 2024, reflecting the growing appetite for credit among members. And electricity producers risk 100,000 shillings fine per month if they fail to submit a 52-week plan on scheduled switch-off of their plants in advance. And then we need as much as possible of the caring mindset to dilute the huge inequalities in our society. It's a story, an article by Mike Eldon, which you can read on page number 9. And Mombasa dying night life forces businesses to shut. That's on page 19 inside the Business Daily. And so that's what's being reported. A lot is being reported this morning in our nation. And so you can grab your favorite copy, get to see, get to read what is being reported. As believers also, it also helps you to know how and who to pray for in as far as our nation is concerned. That is the newspaper review. Right about now, we take another break. And this time round, it is to pave way for the video of the day.